Welcome to Understanding the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, what managers need to know. In this video, we will provide an overview of the Act, describe manager do's and don'ts, explain common accommodations, and share key takeaways. The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act was enacted to ensure reasonable accommodations are provided to employees and applicants whose ability to perform the functions of a job are limited by pregnancy, childbirth, or a related medical condition. It requires an interactive process between employees and employers to determine appropriate, reasonable accommodations. The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act does not replace federal, state, or local laws that are more protective of workers affected by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act has some differences from the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA protects workers from discrimination based on disability and similarly requires covered employers to provide reasonable accommodations to a qualified individual with a disability if the reasonable accommodation would not cause an undue hardship for the employer. Unlike the Americans with Disabilities Act, employees do not have to suffer from a disability in order to receive accommodations under the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. Employees affected by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions must be afforded reasonable accommodations. This may include the temporary suspension of any essential function of the job. The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act considers certain accommodations as predictable assessments, which do not impose an undue hardship and must be accommodated. These predictable assessments include carrying or keeping water nearby, allowing additional restroom breaks, standing for those whose work requires sitting, and taking breaks to eat and drink. A delay in providing these accommodations will result in a violation of the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. Other common examples of reasonable accommodations include allowing telework, temporary reassignment, intermittent leave for healthcare appointments, and leave to recover from childbirth or related medical conditions. Managers should immediately notify their human resources business partner and human resources leave team when they become aware their employee needs an accommodation due to pregnancy or related condition. The need for an accommodation may be verbal. Employees and applicants are not required to use any specific language in making such requests. There are no magic words, and the request could sound like, "I'm having trouble getting to work at my scheduled time due to my morning sickness," or "I need time off from work to attend medical appointments due to my pregnancy," or "I need more bathroom breaks because of my pregnancy," or "I need to leave early Friday because I have an appointment with a therapist due to postpartum depression." Now let's review manager do's and don'ts. Do immediately notify human resources and work in tangent with your human resources business partner and human resources leave team. Do keep all private information confidential. Do be mindful of and prohibit retaliation in the workplace. Do review company policies relating to workplace accommodations, including pregnancy accommodations. Do understand that your actions can be imputed to the company. Do not sit on requests. Promptly respond to all accommodation requests by looping in your human resources business partner and human resources leave team. Work together to ensure the accommodations are carried out smoothly. Do not inquire about an employee's private medical information. Do not make personal judgments about the validity or reasonableness of a request. Work with your human resources business partner and human resources leave team. Do not retaliate. In summary, workers do not need to use specific words to request an accommodation to begin the interactive process. Once an employee requests an accommodation, immediately notify human resources, so the company can begin to engage in the interactive process. A worker may need different accommodations as the pregnancy progresses, as they recover from childbirth, or as the related medical condition improves or gets worse. And finally, retaliation for seeking an accommodation under the Act or assisting another employee and who is seeking an accommodation under the Act is expressly prohibited.